All right, Kyle. A 7-1 win. You scored 7 goals against an elite goalie. You had a hat trick by your captain, 5 points by Nate McKinnon, 3 points by Mikko Rantanen, but you lost the face-off percentage 53% to 47%. What gives?
Fire Bednar.
Done. Get the hashtag going. All right. Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am your host, Chris Maselli. Joining me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. All about the Avalanche 7-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets today. So put your tray tables in their upright and locked position and your seat backs upright, or however they want to say it, because this was a thumping. So we will discuss it all. First things first, thank you for making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. Follow the show on social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions to lockedonavalanche@gmail.com. And follow the show on our YouTube channel over on the YouTube. Just search for Locked On Avalanche. So we had talked about this game quite a bit on yesterday's episode. Kind of excited for it. Thought it was going to be a entertaining game. It was, if you are, from an Avalanche perspective, that they kind of just ran away with it. They spotted Winnipeg a goal early on, a power play goal, no less, which you're thinking like, oh God, here we go again with this power play or this penalty kill. Can't stop anything. And it was a difficult save. It was a rebound that kind of just went astray. And I didn't notice that puck was tipped in the beginning. It was kind of tipped. And then, so I think it threw Kuemper's timing off, and it was a juicy rebound, and they put it home. After that, this thing was all Avs. Mm-hmm. So, and we'll go through a lot of it, but overall thoughts on a dominating performance.
It was extremely dominating when you're scrolling through Twitter and you see all the Avalanche fans kind of like, guys, are we a good team? It's one of my favorite things. Like, we just can't believe it. We're just so conditioned. And this was incredible. And not just an incredible game, incredible names from the names that you put on the billboard. Like, you have Nathan McKinnon, Gabe Landeskog, and Mikko Rantanen going out there and absolutely doing what we've been saying. Like, it'd be nice to see a game like this out of Gabe. When we talked about on the last episode, he was kind of out of it in that last game, and he just gets himself a hat trick, and Nate gets 5 points, and Mikko, the guy we don't appreciate that much, he gets out there and it starts scoring. It was an incredible game from the top line, especially.
The top line was incredible. You know who didn't score at all in this game? Cale Makar. So the one that everybody's eyes were on today, especially because of what he did against Chicago, didn't get on the stat sheet. Not to say he wasn't, involved. He clearly was. He's always going to be. Just couldn't, 7 goals. You would think he'd be somewhere in there, and he wasn't. I think that speaks more to just the depth and how many different angles that this Avalanche team can jump on you than it does to him not being on the score sheet. It's of zero concern to me that he didn't net a point in this game. You have Gabe Landeskog with a hat trick and an assist, Nathan McKinnon with a goal and 4 assists, and Mikko Rantanen with a goal and 2 assists. I believe that is 12 points in total, 5 points just in goals. That's against an elite goalie, not just a good goalie or above average goalie, an elite goalie. That part of it makes me feel so good about this team, because that's what I wanted to see. And we had even said yesterday that, is this going to be a 1-0 game, a 2-1 game? It's a 7-1 game. Again, Connor Hellebuck does not give up 7 goals.
No.
And I don't want to hear he had an off night, because after that first period, he was looking pretty good. We were all thinking like this might be a 2-1 game. But this speaks to just the dynamic ability that this Avalanche team has. And I think a lot of people are going to be waking up tomorrow looking at this score and then saying Hellebuck couldn't have been in goal, and notice that he was for the full 60 minutes. And people are going to be saying like, whoa, okay, this Avs team has got it together.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. It's not like he had a bad night. He made many saves. He was shutting down anything like logo down. He was sliding all over the place. And in that first period, you saw a couple of those shots, and you're like, oh, this is going to be one of those nights. And it's going to be difficult to get anything by him. And you saw the Avalanche not get frustrated. And they just kept doing what they were doing and just kept wearing away. And the shots started going in, and they kept Hellebuck in, and he maintained his same level. It's just the Avalanche just kept on with the never-ending barrage for 60 minutes.
Stop.
And it's one of those that we just beat Marc-Andre Fleury. We just beat Connor Hellebuck. You almost are like, what's next? And that's a good position to be.
And even who was the game before Chicago? Anaheim.
John Gibson.
Gibson. That is 3 solid goalies you have just hung W's on.
Yeah.
So you got to be feeling good with the Avs. And, it didn't start the best.
No.
You had Curtis McDermott just taking out Hellebuck. At first, when I saw it, it was kind of like, in real time, I thought there was a Winnipeg Jet who was kind of with him and he couldn't like avoid him. Oh no, that was his own player that he struggled to avoid, and he literally just took out Hellebuck. Okay. And then they get a goal. But this team, and that was so early on, that was within like the first 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So no team is going to panic that early in the game. But this team doesn't panic really ever. And even in the Chicago game, when they got down 2, there was no panic. We're just going to ramp up our game. There's a difference between the two, because when you're panicking, you're playing out of control. You're not playing cohesive. You're just zooming up and down the ice. They just upped their game, and that's what this team can do. We'll play our game how we know how to play our game, which is damn good enough to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
But if we have to elevate that game, good luck stopping it. They're a solid. They are playing how we always knew that they could play when they were having their struggles in the early part of the season. And that was all they just got to get some games under their belt. And that's what we were saying from the beginning.
And it's such a weird feeling, like to sit there and watch Scheifele score right out of the gate and the Avalanche go down 1-0, and you don't worry at all. They don't worry at all. It's like, okay, you got one.
Yep.
One's for free, and then 7 unanswered. Like,
when you say that out loud, and then you have to include on Hellebuck. Just keep saying 7 unanswered on Hellebuck it's mind-blowing to me. There were frustrations early on, and this is how we're saying like this team doesn't panic. And I'm not saying I was panicking, but I was annoyed at one thing in particular. So I'll talk about what that is after we hear from Built Bar. And in the new year, it's a new year, so that means New Year's resolutions. If yours is about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in that program. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, probably even better than a candy bar. It makes it easier to stick to your resolutions because it tastes so good, you want to eat them all, unlike other protein bars, which can be chalky, waxy, or taste like what?
A chemical spill.
Those chemical spills can be nasty. I've had a chemical spill or two. No, I haven't, because I wouldn't be here. You want to eat healthy, but it just gets so boring. But like by week 3, you might be thinking, this is just not worth it. I need some chocolate. Well, Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Most bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 grams of net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has about 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and I don't even get into the net carbs. But you can go right now to built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15, and you get 15% off of your order. Once again, the promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. early stages of the game when I'm annoyed or frustrated, not worried at all. But yeah, you give up the power play goal, which that in and of itself is like, that's the one thing that's hanging on this team is their penalty kill is just struggling. And
Yeah.
within the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game, you're giving up one. And then you get a power play. Winnipeg has a penalty. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you go on the power play. What was annoying me more than anything, and the Avs tend to do this, it was the whatever, the drop back pass is what it is. They're going to do that all the time. They do give you a couple new wrinkles now when they have a second person back there. I like that. But they were doing this the second they got into the offensive zone. That pass off to the side, whether to the right or the left, it was not working. It was driving me absolutely crazy. Just carry the puck in at least 6 feet more. You are giving yourself so little margin for error when the second you pass that blue line, you do that little shuffle pass to the left. If anything goes wrong, if it's just fumbled a little bit, that guy is up against the boards. He's got nowhere to go. He's cornered. He can't go out. He can't move backwards because he's going to go out of the zone. You have to set that guy up better.
Yeah.
The first power play was horrific in doing that. I don't know why the Avs can't just bring it all the way into the zone if you want to, dump it into the zone if you want to. But this pass that immediately happens when they get into the offensive zone is driving me crazy. Having said that, and then I'll let you say what you want to say, but they did finish 3 for 4 on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was a on the fly adjustment, but early the first 5 minutes of this game were frustrating for me, and then the remaining 55 minutes were aces.
It's like in practice, the Avalanche work on every way possible to get into the offensive zone, but just getting into the offensive zone. And if you ever notice, they always do the extremely cutesy power play, the first one we get of the game. And it's like they get to the bench, and then Bednar's like, that's
Stop
enough.
doing that.
Yeah.
I'll have to pay attention to that.
That's you, because I remember, I think it was the last game. No, it was the game against the Ducks. We had a super elaborate drop back pass that we always harp about, and it was the first power play of the game. And I was just like, huh. And then it tightened up after that. I feel like they get super creative on a way to just get in the zone, and then Bednar just tells them, just get in the zone. And then the rest of the power plays, they get corrected.
Yeah.
I feel like we're thinking too much to overcompensate like the weaker spots. And I feel like that's also the problem on the penalty kill.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're overcomplicating what the penalty kill should do. And I think we just need to simplify that just a little bit. And I think we'll be all right.
And then I think they did. And then it shows for a 3 for 4. And then the penalty kill, it was like the flip flop. Like the first you give up a penalty or a power play goal, and then you don't get one, and then everything flipped. And then you took a lot of penalties in this game. Was it 5?
Mm-hmm.
But that was the only power play goal you gave up.
Yeah.
Was the very first one. I mean, and that was the only goal the Jets had in the entirety of the game. So 1 for 5 for the Jets after that. And when you're a struggling team on a penalty kill, you will take that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll take that all day. That I'm still not happy with how the penalty kill is performing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just let the opponent set up.
Yeah.
I don't like that. They set up, they let them set up, and then they just rely on their positioning to get them through the penalty kill. And I get, that part of it that's part of it, but the other part of it is like, why not go out and try to stop them? I think they're too afraid to get beat on the back end. If they get beat, they might let up a goal, and they don't want to be that guy that lets anybody by them. I understand that, but you're taking 0 chances in the neutral zone to try to disrupt anything going on. You're just letting them come on in. You're not even stopping them on the blue line.
Yeah.
You're not even setting up there. So you're 1 for 5, but that doesn't mean like the Jets didn't have a lot of opportunities. I think the Jets, they did.
They did.
So 1 for 5, good. But just the whole dynamic of the penalty kill, I think, needs to ramp up a little bit more. Go ahead.
No, and these are all happening early in the game. Like these are all things that we were talking about, like the Avalanche not getting frustrated. I wonder if this is an adjustment that we'll see heading into the Toronto game, because we had our first penalty kill was bad and they scored. Our first power play was bad and nothing really happened. It was atrocious. And like I said, we were down 1, but we still came back and ended up how we did. So I think the adjustments have been kind of made. Can we see if we carry this from the midway from the first on to the Toronto game? If we can carry this over, I think we might have a complete team now.
Yeah. I think you're right. I hear that's like kind of like the last remaining puzzle for the Avs to figure out. I absolutely loved that the first goal for the Avs, your boy, keeping his amazing season alive, and going, not even alive, just going. But that was impressive to me, and I posted it on Twitter. It was a shot from Eric Johnson inside the blue line, and Kadri was bodying somebody on the Jets, and he was sandwiched in between whatever defender was on him and Hellebuck, and he just kind of did this very nice like ice dance to avoid Hellebuck and not have a goalie interference, and in the process tipping the puck to redirect it to get a goal. Just the fact that he avoided Hellebuck in and of itself was incredible skill. To redirect the puck on top of it was that was a thing of beauty. That was really, really impressive.
And the way Kadri's been playing, especially on that second line, he mimics a lot of what Landeskog does. He's almost like his positioning in front of the net and like how he scores and how he handles things. It's very like Landeskog Part 2. So it's almost like whatever that top line does, you can expect that one more time, because EJ's found some magic, because he used to be on that top line with Tyson Barrie as Tyson Barrie EJ feeding Landeskog.
Yeah.
And now EJ's working with Kadri. So that's working, and you see that working. And Kadri is tied for 5th with Stamkos right now in the league for points. And again, it's quietly.
I thought he even moved up to. No, he was 5th. Yeah. Is that all he had? Was the goal? He must have had a. Yeah, that was it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Dude, we talk about him so many times. Logan O'Connor.
Yeah.
Is just an animal. I don't know. Let me see what his stat line was for the day. I don't think it was. He didn't have any. He had nothing. But this is a perfect example of a guy not putting anything up on the stat sheet. If you're just a box score hound and you look at that, it does not tell the tale of Logan O'Connor. Involved in so much, involved in protecting his teammates, involved in the penalty kill, obviously. He is, and look, look, Cam McCarr didn't have anything either. Yeah. And again, that doesn't tell the whole story too. I loved how Logan O'Connor played yesterday, and it's just more of what we've come to expect from him.
Yeah, seeing LOC and Josti getting physical throughout the game, even away from the puck, just kind of setting the tone, because Winnipeg was getting frustrated, understandably, and they kept trying to get kind of chippy with it. And the Avalanche, how we always hear, the Avalanche aren't physical. They're not physical. They need one physical piece. We're comprised of physical pieces.
Oh, sure.
They will step up and take up for the team, and that only happens when everyone is bought into where the team is going. So if you want to know about where the mindset is of the team, everyone from line 1, line 4, they are sold out for where this team is going, and it's about time we get on board.
Yeah. I mean, O'Connor didn't even register a shot on goal.
Yeah.
And it's like, to have that much of an impact on the game, in my opinion, to not have an assist, a goal, or a shot on goal, you're an important piece of the team. So, and I mean, normally when you see that, you're like, well, the guy was just non-existent. He was a ghost. Anything but for Logan O'Connor. anything but.
He was everywhere, and it's almost surprising he didn't have anything.
I know. It would really shock you. Yep.
Yeah.
It does shock you. It does shock you. So a couple other things to get to, obviously. So, and including, are we excited about Saturday? But first, betonline.ag would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the NFL playoffs and beyond. Actually watched Toy Story today.
Good call.
Not me, my kids. But of course I'm going to sit and watch it with them.
Absolutely.
You have to. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. It's a new year and a new updated desktop and mobile websites. To sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code Locked On to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all of your favorite sports. It's where the game starts. It's betonline.ag. What's your favorite Toy Story out of the four? It's tough.
I have a weird thing. I love 2 a lot.
See, I think I like 2 the least.
Really?
Yeah.
I like 4 the least.
See, I like 4 maybe third. And then, I mean, the original is awesome.
Yeah.
But 3 is like killer. 3, the ending of 3 just...
3 is amazing.
Just wipes you out every single time. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
I have to agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's be 1 and 3, and then 4, and then 2.
Yeah, 2 and 3, 1 and 4.
All right. I love that. Everybody has their own like hierarchy of Toy Story movies. So. So you get more than just hockey on this podcast. We're Pixar fans.
Well-rounded individuals is what we are.
Absolutely. So the second period, maybe their best period of the season.
Yeah.
And not in just goals, scored, which were 3. They only had 3. I thought they had 4. So 3. But the offensive zone possessions.
Yeah.
Was just, oh my God. This top line again, just doing whatever they wanted to do. And it's one of those situations where you wanted it to end in a goal just for all the efforts that they were doing in the offensive zone, just sustaining possession after possession. Looked incredible. And then, they followed up. I thought they were, undisciplined in the third with all the penalties.
Yeah.
So you want to clean that up. But I loved the pace of this game on both ends. Like, even though Winnipeg was kind of getting shot out of the arena in terms of the score, it was a back and forth game. It was like kind of an open ice game. There were chances on both sides. It was an exciting game to watch. It just got out of hand for Winnipeg, and I think that's just a testament to the Avalanche team. But what did you think of the dynamic between the awesome second period and then kind of like the they didn't set back in the third, but just I guess the undisciplinedness of all the penalties that they took.
That second period, it's funny that you said like it was one of the best periods that we've had so far. There were a couple times, I know about 2 or 3, that I looked up at that scoreboard. It felt like we were on the power play and we weren't. Because how we had the control of the puck, I was like, wow. And I would look up I would see how long is in the power play, and we weren't on a power play.
Yeah.
So like the passing and everything looked incredible. The pace was incredible. And we talked about it on yesterday's episode. Like, Winnipeg's no pushover. This is a good team. And I think you started feeling confident in where the game was going when it got about 5-1, because you just never knew. And like how Winnipeg just kept pushing and pushing, and the Avalanche just kept ratcheting it up. Like, it never felt safe until about 5-1. And then like in that third, you could kind of feel that even Peter McNabb kind of said like the air is out of the like the temperature's cold, and then at that moment Nathan McKinnon scores. It was kind of dead in that third period. But
Winnipeg was doing what the Avalanche were doing against Chicago when the Avs were down 3-2. Mm-hmm. They were really kind of controlling the pace in the third. They just couldn't crack Kuemper, who, we can talk about him for a second. I thought he was great. I wish he got that one back so he could have a shutout. But he gave up that one early and then just shut the door. And he made some good saves. I don't want to say like some sprawling saves or anything like that, but he made saves on shots where Winnipeg had some really good looks and really good lanes, and he stopped them. So I thought he played a really good game. He's playing solid. He's not playing out of his mind. I just feel like he's playing solid, and that's really all the Avalanche want him to do.
And you could see that confidence when he almost let that puck in that he almost scored on himself. Like it kind of went off his elbow, and he like got
did that
up.
Go off his, did that go off his elbow or the other player? It was
like
his. See.
It went like off his elbow, and he thought he had it, and then it's just like dribbling behind him, and he turns around, does the layout, gets it, picks up, and he's standing up, and he's laughing it off.
Oh my God, that's why I love this guy.
Yeah.
He's always got a smile on his face.
And I'm like, okay, this guy's all right. This guy, he's cool.
Yeah. I mean, if Darcy Kuemper lived on my street, we would hang out a lot.
Yeah. Watch Toy Story all weekend.
We would. I mean, we'd have Pixar marathons and cry at the end of Coco.
That movie. Oh, that movie was so good.
It kills you, man. So, no, I do. I think would the Avalanche want him to be like the, a Vasilevsky or even a Hellebuck outside of playing the Avalanche? Yeah, of course you want that. Can he be that? I think from time to time he can be, but if they get this from him, they're more than happy with that. And that's not to say the Avalanche just want to go outscore teams. They want to be able to play a variety of games. One of them is a grind out 1-0 game where he's standing on his head. They do want that. But I think the Avs want to play a complete game where they're not putting so much emphasis on the goalie to win them the game.
Exactly.
They want their defense to win them the game and him just stop the pucks that happen to get through on the defense. And having said that, Winnipeg they had 35 shots on goal. But they are a good offensive team.
Yeah.
They have some really good weapons on that team. So it's tough to ask the Avalanche defense to shut this team to less than 20 shots on goal. It's not going to happen against a team like Winnipeg. So what do you have to do? You have to have a goalie that's up to the task. And at least for last night, Kuemper was. I thought he played great. Now, how much confidence does this give us going into Saturday? Because that was not a good game the last time they played Toronto. That was in Toronto. Obviously, this is in Denver. The Avs are a completely different team. They're a more healthy team. I think you're going to see, you should see a different game when it comes to these two teams going against each other. But that was just the way that Toronto played. That was a complete game. Like, I think that was almost like what the Avalanche aspired to be by this time. And that's how they're playing now. So how excited that you were against playing the Jets. That's how excited I am against playing Toronto, who's not even a Western Conference team. It's just a really good team that's kind of like a litmus test of how you do against them.
Yeah, I think the Maple Leafs were a Western Conference team at one point. I think in the 90s they were. But anyway, the thing that I'm looking forward to when they ended the broadcast, the Avalanche have 10 consecutive home wins. And I think that ties a record that we have. What better way to break that tie and keep this? Like, the Avalanche are hot. They are very hot. What better way to get revenge and keep the home win streak alive? Like, then once you put that one to bed, you almost feel like you're the top of the league. You're going to shoot up power rankings, and then who's in our way and who can beat us? And that's an attitude that we haven't had since 01, maybe since 033 was in net.
Yeah. I mean, you're not only are you feeling good because you're playing well, and again, like I alluded to earlier, to put up 7 on a goalie like that, that is what's making you have some confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've been putting up 7 points all year.
Yeah.
But to do it, and the last 3 goalies are top of the line goalies.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're feeling like you can run through brick walls right now for the Avalanche. So, and Winnipeg, I didn't know that, obviously. I don't really follow Winnipeg day in and day out. They had 5 wins in a row on the road.
Yeah.
That they had talked about on the broadcast. So they were feeling good about how their road game is, and Avalanche said not so fast. But are we getting to, and quickly, are we getting to the point where, because the Red Wings and the Duck game got canceled, are we kind of feeling like anytime we at least get to play a game, that's a bonus?
Yeah.
I don't want to take Saturday for granted for whatever reason. Like, it's almost getting to the point right now where it's, I'm excited that there's going to be a hockey game when it's game day, and then I'm excited that the game's actually taking place when they drop the puck.
Yeah, don't take the games for granted. Enjoy it while you got it. And another thing, Avalanche fans, don't look at the standings and freak out, because we have so many games in hand. They pop up the graphics and all that. We're in a really good place.
Yeah,
just be confident.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, where's the if you go to websites that can organize by category, look at the points percentage, because that'll prop the Avalanche up pretty much where they should be. All right, that's going to be it for today, everybody. Great win. Lots to be happy about, while still needing to correct a couple things. But when you blow a team out 7-1, that's a pretty decent team. You're feeling good about it.
Yep.
So that's going to wrap it up for today and for this week. So we'll be back on Monday to talk about everything that happened over the weekend, obviously including that Toronto game that we are anticipating it being played. Hopefully. Yep. It's going to happen. So that's it. All right. But thank you for making this your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. Check out Locked On NHL for your second listen of the day. Get caught up on everything going on around the league. But for us, that's going to wrap it up. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli, and this is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. And we will see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.